We're back, ladies and gentlemen, getting set up here for game two between the Civil War of Cloud9 Academy versus Cloud9 Amateur, coming off the back of what was a killer performance from the Academy roster here.
That was nasty. Oh, we get to relive the level 1? Oh man, this is so mean.
Triple stun. Triple knockup.
Oh, the cinematic one also. Man, there goes Breezy.
Poor Breezy.
And poor Cloud9 Amateur in this game as well. They were not having a great time in this game. They were really just outmatched at most of the game here. Cloud9 Academy had a really strong setup all throughout, and I think something to note as well is they're showing us that Red side is maybe just king, at least for today, because this is the 4th Red side win in a row on the stream today, and they're gonna get Red side again.
Yeah, and it's an interesting pick here for Cloud9 Amateur because we have seen that the other teams have been prioritizing Red once they lose their first game. And we've been doing some research on the games coming into today. Red side has a 57% win rate as well. So to see that this is the first team today, or the first time today, that you have that blue side being picked as a priority is really interesting to me as we see what is an excellent turret dive being set up here by the Academy roster. And this is kind of the name of the game here, the entire game. For what the Academy team wanted to do here is just group up as 4, group up as 5, and make dive after dive happy. Especially with Kapu, we cannot give him enough props.
I think the biggest thing in this game in particular was that Cloud9 Amateur didn't get to use their typical main carry on their squad to great effect, and that's usually going to be Wixie. He was on Jhin, so he was set up to be a utility carry for his team rather than damage, unless it got to the really big late game. But when you see fights like this, and you see Wixie has to back up completely and cast Curtain Call instead of using his other abilities and auto-attacking, then you know that he's not really at his most effective in the game. And then after this, he gets a taste of the copy Irelia. Oh man, you're just not safe anywhere. All the dashes through the minion wave. He catches up underneath the turret and gets to go for it. He does it again in this play also.
Underneath turret, doesn't even land the stun, only needs the ultimate, resets into next week, and is still able to manage to make his way onto Wixie 2v1, by the way, and gets out alive at the end of that play. Copy having a killer performance in that first game of our best of 3 series here. But it's not all over for Cloud9 Amateur yet. They did have that one early game fight for themselves that went fairly well around some of the early Dragon Pits. And, you know, while we didn't get to see them execute on the pick composition that we saw earlier previous in the day, the same way that FlyQuest and Golden Guardians could, they still had a few moments for themselves where they were able to pop off.
I think for Cloud9 Amateur, they're not out of the series. Of course, it's best of 3, so they at least get this next game to show us what they are worth. And that's what Proving Grounds is all about, you know, proving to us that you have what it takes to move on. And I think most importantly in a series like this, proving to your org, Cloud9, that you are competitive against your counterpart. Because if you are on this Cloud9 Amateur roster, where is the place that you're most likely to get promoted to for Academy? Cloud9 Academy. So what better way to prove that you are worth that promotion than beating the guy that you'd be replacing, you know? So for Cloud9 Amateur, they've got that extra sort of side quest today in this series.
And if they're able to win today as well, they're going to be having the potential to move on to Scouting Grounds later in the year as well. So they beat their own sister team. They show that they deserve a spot in Academy. And if they don't get picked up by Cloud9 Academy by winning here today, they can try and lock in some of their players with a few more spots at Scouting Grounds where they can be hopefully picked up by one of these other Academy rosters as well. And that's really what we're here for. It's sure the prize pool, it's cool and all, you know, a few $1,000s here if you win, a few $1,000s there if you get second place is fantastic. But really showing the talent of these players, showing that some of these amateur teams on the rosters that they have are worthy of moving up to LCS is really what we're all here for at Proving Grounds.
I'm glad you brought up the Scouting Grounds qualification as well, because if we're correct in this, with the way that the bracket has laid out, Cloud9 Academy are fighting with Resolve mainly to get into that Scouting Grounds. And if they win this series, then great, they can keep fighting with Resolve. If they lose, then I'm pretty positive that the players that they're sending are just Speedo and Wixie. So that you already have the head-to-head against AoE. All the other amateur teams already got knocked out in the lower bracket round one. So I'm fairly certain in saying that Wixie and Speedo are already going to scouting rounds. But if the other members of the squad want to go with them, then they are going to have to keep going in proving grounds, because that's how you qualify. You be the top two top two proving grounds amateur teams, and then you can send all your players there. So pretty exciting stuff on the line there as well.
And of course, this is to say that, Wildcard Red still in contentions as they're on the winning side of the bracket, and Resolve, who just won their series earlier this week as well. Congratulations to them on their win yesterday versus AoE. It's a tense series here between Cloud9 Amateur and Cloud9 Academy. Smacks, looking into this next game, though, I want to see Cloud9 Amateur. They drafted this global composition, and I'm not entirely against it. We saw it work perfectly earlier in the day. I just want to see some more proactive plays coming out from the amateur roster, because in that last game, the Academy team, they were the team that was always grouped up as 4 or 5 members preemptively, where despite the fact that you have the Grand Starfall, despite the fact that you have the Destiny, it seemed that it was the amateur roster that was always getting caught out of position as a non-5-man unit.
Like I was saying before, the way that we usually see this team perform in the mid and the late game is with XU and Wixie playing these carry threats. And I already mentioned how Jin isn't really a carry threat in his own right. You're more about the utility and long range. Graves got countered pretty hard by that Churnfire Echo pick, and I have a feeling that there are more AP junglers that Churnfire could have pulled out, like the Fiddlesticks perhaps, that would have had the same effect. So I think for Cloud9 Amateur, they are going to need to pull something else out of the hat to make Wixie and make XU the carry forces that they have been all throughout the summer split.
It's going to come down to draft to see what they pick up for themselves here as we head into games 2 here. But before that, we have a 2-minute break for you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a couple of minutes with game 2 of this best of 3 series between Cloud9 Academy and Cloud9 Amateur. Do not touch your browsers. We'll be right back. We're back and we're getting set up for what is potentially the last game of the night here in our second series between our two Cloud9 teams. Already hopping into pick and ban here. Rise being taken off the table one more time. It is going to be the run back on the blue side for the amateur roster here, trying to take a win for the first time today on the blue side.
And for Cloud9 Amateur, they elected to go back to blue. They elected to have that same draft setup for them and the same map setup for them as well. Maybe this means we get a salty run back. I'm imagining that some of the bans they're going to change up a bit. I say that, and two of them are exactly the same. The Rise and the Thresh for Cloud9 Amateur are gone. It's actually Cloud9 Academy who oh no, that's the same thing. I was thinking of the other series.
It's
Nothing has
all the
changed so
same
far.
so far.
Yeah.
It's all the same so
Just
far.
ignore me.
And you know, for Academy that works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're
Yeah.
they're totally happy with running it back on the red side. So far their rally is still open, which popped off huge for copy here. The Vars is still up and available as well. I'm curious to see what their final ban is going to be here, because as far as I'm aware, you don't really change anything if you already had a very winning strategy coming into game one, which does ask the question, what does Cloud9 Amateur have in mind here that they want to do for themselves, that they're willing to go back to the blue side, that they're willing to reapproach from the same angle, the same bands? Twisted Fate will be the one switch up here from Cloud9 Academy, but it's Amateur that gets their hand on the Aurelia this time around.
I was just predicting the future that Cloud9 Academy would change up the bands, and they do. The Galio is still available for Cloud9 Amateur. It's been one of the biggest picks for Captain Shrimps, who has a huge champion pool, so he's not certainly locked down to just the Galio, or just the Twisted Fate even. I mean, this Aurelia could be going to him for all we know, but I mean, you know, now that I'm talking about Captain Shrimp's champion pool, you know, why not just show us another Singed game? I just want more Singed. That's really what it's all about.
I mean, I'm personally down for another Xerath game coming out of him. You always
True.
love to see an old school artillery mage like that. I remember playing it back in the day myself, and it brings a tear to my eye seeing it pulled out in pro. But it is going to be the Vars. That's picked up here by Cloud9 Academy. LeBlanc being picked up for the mid lane as well here. Copy not getting his hands on this Aurelia, so instead he's going to be playing the Trickster Mage in the mid lane. There's more than one, but this time it's going to be the Black Rose for the hands of Copy.
Singed has got to be a good matchup for LeBlanc. Right? You gotta. That's definitely favorable for Singed, right? You gotta lock this one in for us, Captain Shrimps.
I mean,
in all reality,
the immediate
it's
W it'd work, right?
Yeah,
if she
exactly.
goes forward, like
that's what I'm
you
saying.
counter it.
You just whoop, flip her over your shoulder. Perfect. I'm all for it. In all reality, it's probably just going to be something like a Lysandra that's still available. It hasn't been banned away, and Cloud9 Amateur have this opportunity now to pick it alongside Ziggs too, which is likely going down to that bottom lane for Wixie. It is that artillery mage, but we've seen it more often used in the bottom lane. They're thinking about this a lot. They're thinking about it's not Singed, guys. I'm sad.
Not yet. We still have our hopes up.
Yeah.
Because that Graves could be
yes,
going into
I
the
like
jungle
that.
and the Ziggs bottom lane, so mid lane is still open here for Captain Shrimps if he wants to pull out the Singe. But it will mean that there's going to be the Ziggs in the bottom lane and the Graves in the jungle. I do like to see the AD carry jungler being paired alongside this mage being played in the bottom lane, especially when you do already have the rally on the table, making sure that the amateur roster does have some form of AP damage coming in, because all too often we see some kind of AD rosters where it's all AD and then it's too easy to stack armor versus it. So making sure that you're counting your ducks, making sure that you're not optimizing too much into any one type of damage. Simple step that you can take to always make sure that your solo queue games at home can go to great success.
Both of these teams have that now. We're likely going to be seeing King with the Lethality Varus build again. King has really been the only player that I've seen, at least in North America, maybe even around the world, who actually starts with the Umbral Glaive, rather than some of the other options like the Eclipse or one of the Lethality Mythics, or even a Manamune. No, he just goes straight for the ward-killing utility power for his team, knowing that if I'm gonna shoot you with an arrow, I'm gonna want to be outside of vision to do it as well. So I like that we have that sort of flavor for King that's specific to him. As he does play this champion quite a lot, and it's going to be Isles back on the Rakan that I was really just completely swooning over in that last game. Rakan, my favorite champion, so to see Isles play that so masterfully brought a tear to my eye.
And he played it so well as well. He had so many
good.
quicknesses that got multiple people. The knockups, always
So
finding them. I think there's only one time we saw him goalpost, and you know what? We'll just ignore that for now and move along with our days.
It could have been cool, okay?
It could have been cool, but instead we get the splits and bowling over here as we look at the rest of these band phases coming out. Leona and Lysandra surprisingly being the band from Academy. Not sure where the Lysandra band coming in. Could have been countered to the Relia themselves, but instead taken off the board. Meanwhile, Kindred and Olaf targeting the jungle pool here from Cloud9 Academy, forcing the Trundle pick to be picked up by Surenfire.
It's a different strategy from what we're used to for Surenfire. Usually we would see an AP jungler against this Grey, something like that Fiddlesticks, or maybe the Echo from before. But Icarus, what if this means that it's Trundle top lane, huh? Maybe. Darshan is playing the Trund. I'm getting really ahead of myself with that one. I'm going off the rails.
I'm all for it. Titanic Hydra with Hullbreaker. We're running it down top lane.
Let's
Darshan
go.
never leaves the side lanes, and he just takes turrets on repeat. I'm all about it. I love split push. And I haven't seen Hullbreaker make its real presence into any of the pro scenes or even the amateur scene yet. I think that item is so good still, despite the fact that it got nerfed. But I digress. That's just a fantasy of mine, as we do have the Karma and Alistar being locked in as the final 2 picks here for Cloud9 Amateur.
Really, if Hullbreaker kept the pirate hat from PvE, I think it'd be even better.
True.
I like this Karma from Cloud9 Amateur. It gives them a lot of early game skirmishing power around this Graves, and it's not like a full commit to building a lot of ability power either. So it still makes it so you don't really need to build a lot of magic resistance on the side of Cloud9 Academy, unless Wixie on this Ziggs really pops off. I see you're eyeing the Fiora, though, for Darshan, the counterpick top lane. I'm excited for this one, too. The split push is online.
It's not quite the Trundle split push like we talked about, Smacks, but it's a split push nonetheless, and it's one of the nastiest. Hullbreaker, you know, Ravenous Hydra, potentially going to be going towards that Trinity Force or Divine Sunder, more likely than not the Divine Sunder, as just such a strong item still in the game. I love seeing Darshan on the split pushes. It's kind of where he's made his name in the past. Scion Spartan, known to be sitting on the side lanes, constantly applying pressure to the side turrets, and he's won too many games across amateur, across academy, and across pro play to not respect what he's going to be able to put down on this Fiora. Once again, going to be running that Ignite teleport combo to make sure that he has as much lane priority as possible. And this time it's not versus a tank, so this Ignite going to be doing massive work versus the potential sustain healing that Speedo is going to be bringing to the table.
And with a pick like Karma as well in the late game, it's going to be valuable, evergreen for this one. I really love Darshan split pushing as well, just like you. I haven't been super impressed by a lot of the Fiora play recently. Not specifically from him, but just around all of the proving grounds in North America. I feel like the execution of this champion is just so difficult, but I am excited to see if Cloud9 Academy can pull this off. As we are into that second game, Icarus, we're already getting things underway, and Cloud9 Academy are going to be trying to make this a 2-0 sweep with this win.
I will say that Darshan has already won the mental game in my book. He started Longsword 3 potions, and Speedo, in fear of what his Fiora can do, starting off with the Doron shield. So looking to do a little bit more sustained focus, a little bit more defensive focus on the top side of the map here from Cloud9 Amateur, not wanting to give any kind of early kills to this very aggressive Fiora that is running that Ignite, as we mentioned before. Wants to sustain up, wants to survive, wants to hit that first item or two where Aurelia can really start dashing around the minions as you get more levels, get more attack speed, and that passive just becomes so much more oppressive.
You have to imagine the Cloud9 Amateur aren't really wanting to do anything really early into this game, because the last game was probably very scarring for them. They just get 3 men knocked up, stunned twice, and killed at level 1. Not what you typically look for in an early game invade, so Cloud9 Amateur playing this one a lot safer. I say that, and they take a pretty weak trade against Isles and King, who didn't leash, and they stayed in this brush in preparation for Wixie.
And it's such a smart play coming in from Isles and King, being able to take advantage of the low mobility that Wixie and Breezy are going to have here, getting him harassed out early, especially on a mage who doesn't have any kind of natural sustain in his kit either. Wixie has to pop an early potion already. He is going to be running those biscuits in order to make sure that he has just that much more sustain versus this lethality virus that's most likely coming in here. Also starting the longsword triple pot once again this game, and you see just how much pressure the 80 versus magic damage in the bottom lane early can go so heavily in favor of this Varus because of the natural sustain and the need for mana that Wixie has. He can't just throw out his spells willy-nilly here until he has that tier, until he has that lost chapter available for himself. Meanwhile, Surenfire in the mid lane, that's going to be the Trundle Pillar. No Flash Force there. We'll back away instead as Captain Shrimps dropping down extremely low off of the back of a few trades from Copy.
Trading back somewhat in this lane as he does hit level 3 and gets some extra bonus health there, but as you said, Copy's already super threatening in this lane. No potions anymore for Captain Shrimps. He's waiting for the Hextech or the minion dematerializers to spawn so he can use those and help clear out the wave so he doesn't have to teleport right away. But you see that he's playing so far back from the minions just because Copy has so much damage in this early lane with the electrocute and with the mobility of the distortion. And Cloud9 Academy, they're not even settled with mid lane. They're going bot.
They're going bot. They're starting off with that. That's going to be double teleports coming out. Wixie's going to be the focus. Flash Force used. He gets away from the wall. That's going to be King going back in. But King, you cannot be going that deep as he falls down. But it will be the first blood picked up by Copy, who completes his teleport. So he's able to steal that little bit of extra gold for himself as Wixie goes down. Immediate teleport, though, coming in from Wixie. He's going to be able to catch and pick up this wave for himself. So at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a pressure advantage going over to Cloud9 Amateur because they have the teleport in the bottom lane still.
Yeah, I was slightly thrown off by that teleport. I forgot that Wixie had that one, but he does get to come back and catch these waves now that King has died. First blood for Copy, though. We've seen what Fed LeBlancs can do just today on the stream, let alone the rest of the games of Proving Grounds. As long as there's no Lysandra to make LeBlanc's life sad, you get to just run rampant, and this is one of those games that is likely to be like that for Copy now with that first blood.
We have the King coming out on the top side here from Cloud9 Amateur. XU is there, but so is Surenfire. Darshan trying to go forward now. He has the Fiora. He's going to be able to get one dash in. Will pick up the kill because it is Isles that shows up on the top side of the map to support his top laner. It is a 3v2 at the end of the day, and another kill going over to the Academy roster.
No way to run for Speedo. He keeps his flash knowing that there's absolutely no way he escapes. And Darshan with another Ignite top laner gets to just run around the top lane, getting all of these kills for himself. And look at bot too. As we do get to look at bot actually with this replay. King completely okay giving his life as long as they find the first blood kill. And getting it onto Wixie helps too.
Ooh, he gets knocked back into the turret. That's what happens to King
really
there.
good.
He was about to get out there, but Barizi with a real big heads-up play does deny the kill. Will mean that the entire wave has to be picked up by Captain Shrimps there as the teleport comes in from Wixie. But at the end of the day, it's a 1-for-1 Copy. Does pick up that first blood as we spawn back onto the map here. Dragon is spawned onto the map. Nobody has set up the ward coverage on this bottom half of the rift in order to get started on this first neutral objective. And so far, it's been a very proactive game from both of these teams here, trying to find what advantages they can. I do want to take a moment to look at the roster, at the composition that Amateur has compiled for themselves here. It seems like a very late game stalling composition here that's really focused around XU. You're saying during our downtime in between games that it's really the jungler for the Amateur roster here that is the main star carry. And when you have a Karma mid lane Graves jungle, there you're setting him up for success.
Captain Shrimps goes for the full vertical on that top to the blast cone. And that might just mean that they don't even go for the dive anymore. Yeah, Darshan has riposed. You have to have all members at full gear. Captain Shrimps just wasn't there quite yet. So, Cloud9 Academy to keep their top laner alive. And I think we'd be remiss without mentioning how far ahead King is in this lane. Even though he's the first member on his team to die, the only one so far. He's up 20 CS in 6 minutes in. This is insane. And I think a lot of that is because of how well he was trading earlier in the lane. We saw, thanks to the no leash for Cloud9 Academy, Surenfire gets to go and take his camps by himself, and Isles and King get to take Wixie to half HP at level 1. They kept the pressure throughout the entire lane. This has been 7 minutes back to back to back of Wixie just not having a fun time in the slightest. Can't get any minions on the Ziggs, can't farm up and be this big win condition for Cloud9 Amateur.
It's a tough lane for him for sure. When you're dealing with another early game laning bully such as this Farce, it's difficult to feel like you can sustain. We're talking about CS differentials, top lane also going very well here for the side of Cloud9 Academy with Darshan sitting at a 30 CS lead himself. But all of this is to be said that XU sitting up 20 CS himself. He wants to be farming on this Graves, wants to be going towards those items as he's picked up a serrated Dirk. So a potential for that lethality Eclipse build that is picked up when you're trying to just do as much damage as you possibly can when carrying from the jungle role.
I feel like the Graves burst build is going to have to come online pretty fast. Which, in fairness, he is 5 camps up over Surenfire. Surenfire is more interested in the carnivorous jungle.
Ooh, that's a huge outplay coming by Speedo on the top lane here. The dash. Oh my gosh, McCoppy following it up here. He's going to be able to find the first kill of this fight. XU will get the return kill with that shotgun blast straight to the face off of the back of that teleport. Coffee trades his life 1-for-1 at the end of the day. Huge props to Speedo there for stalling so much time for his team to follow up.
XU's getting pretty big all of a sudden. Like we said before, he's up 5 camps, and now with another kill on his side, take this Rift Herald and get even more gold into the pockets of XU. And when you look across the board for Cloud9 Academy, they have this tank in the Trundle, but realistically, we're probably going to see a Divine Sundera picked up for Surenfire. So, not the tankiest Trundle, and when you go for this lethality build on Varus, your main goal is just to blow up, and that's what he's able to do when you get all these kills early.
Look at how much time Speedo is able to get in this replay. He clears out the wave, most importantly, to prevent that dive from continuing forward there on the side of Cloud9 Academy. And he's able, while the stun does get counteracted there by the riposte from Darshan, he just buys so much time for the rest of his team to come in. Ends up trading 1-for-1 at the end of the day and still is able to pick up the minion wave for himself. So we're cresting over this 9-minute mark here. Dragon not going to be up for another 2 minutes here. So both teams are just looking to slowly play this one out, as there's no major objective on the board just quite yet. Both junglers going back into their side of this map, clearing out as many camps as they can and getting the resets and Eclipse completed here for XU.
Yeah, that is a very quick mythic item. Shout out to the Samsung Fast 5 right there. Sheesh. Nuts. Before 10 minutes, he will have that power that we're hoping to see from him. Even though Cloud9 Academy are pretty far behind at this point, this Graves is a huge power pick. And when they can move him around and just position him well with backup like the Karma and the Alistar support duo helping him out.
Oh, that's a great Shades of Corruption coming in by King there.
Wow.
He's going to find the kill for it, as well as the tethering chain from Copy. Secures the second back for that CC. Meanwhile, that's a great pillar coming in from Surenfire, cutting off the exit from Breezy. He has to walk completely around that bush, and it will secure a second kill for the side of Cloud9 Academy.
There's nowhere to run, even under your turrets from Cloud9 Academy. We know this from the last game where Copy was playing Irelia, and now we're seeing it again in Game 2, Icarus. This is again just so mean against Cloud9 Amateur. They cannot move around the map. It's really going back to that Mario Luigi thing, where the little brother is just...
They're already dead. You can't keep doing it to them.
It's even worse at this point. You ever play Mario Galaxy? This is like when you're playing Mario as player 1 and player 2 is just the Luma.
Luma? Oh, what you gotta do is sit on the sidelines and shoot your shot as much as you can, and that's exactly what Cloud9 Amateur is trying to do here with this Rift Herald. They drop it in the bottom lane just to get a little bit of gold for themselves off the back of that plating. It will mean that they're setting themselves up for success with Wixie finishing off that turret later on. But with the Dragon spawning on the map, Cloud9 Amateur has to back away here because all of Cloud9 Academy has showed up to secure the second Drake of the game for themselves.
Game 1, Cloud9 Amateur picked up those first 2 Drakes, but they're not quite so advantageous in this time. Cloud9 Academy has the scaling online, they got the early game online, and with the side lane threat of Fiora, you have to imagine that Cloud9 Amateur are in slight panic mode right now. They have to figure out some way to find something on the Rift. It's likely going to come down to a pick. That's usually how these situations work. When you're this far behind, you have to get some crazy stun from one of your members and some crazy way to kill a Fed member. But who's realistically going to do that on Cloud9 Amateur's side? They have mostly just midline damage threats on their team. They don't have a big primary engage outside of a flash from Breezy, but he's got Hex Flash. He doesn't actually have his real flash up quite yet. So we're still waiting and hoping for Cloud9 Amateur to get something on the board for themselves. Those 2 kills earlier are not going to cut it.
More platings going over to the side of Cloud9 Amateur here. It is just pressure across the map, and look at the itemization. Darshan completing his Gore Drinker, still working towards that Blade of the Ruined King for Speedo as well. And it has just been a breakneck pace here from Game 1 into Game 2 here by the Cloud9 Academy roster. They're already 2,000 gold ahead at just 13 minutes. 2 Dragons up as well, and they are trying to put pressure back on this bottom lane. If there's anybody on the side of Cloud9 Amateur that needs to be putting on the carry pants this game, it's going to be XU. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, Surenfire, he finds the pillar, the immobile Karma mid goes down, and Copy finds himself a 3rd kill.
Fire in the mid lane again to help Copy succeed. This guy in the mid lane for Cloud9 Academy, he's had a tumultuous year. He hasn't had the most consistent performances, I think is fair to say, but when he comes to the late game, we know that Copy can carry. He's one of the most clutch players that I've gotten the chance to watch grow all throughout this year and last year as well on 100 Thieves Next. And seeing him be the main win condition in this series for Cloud9 Academy has been such a treat to watch. First on the Aurelia, now on LeBlanc. This guy is making huge waves for Cloud9, and I'm excited to see if they can win this series and move on after too.
He's been making a huge name for himself. As you mentioned, Smack's one of the few members on the side of Cloud9 Academy that is really trying to bring himself up from the grassroots of amateur here over the past couple of years. Played on Dignitas last year, but topside, Speedo trying to keep himself alive versus the likes of Darshan, Fire, and now it is Isles that comes in to secure that kill. XU there to try and save his life, but he's going to be too little too late, because now he has to try and fight for the life of his own. Wixie getting collapsed on by Copy, who we're just talking about, and it is Cloud9 Amateur that is fighting for their lives. They find one for themselves here as Captain Shrimps is able to pick that one up. They're turning this one around because they're the ones that have the teleport that is available there. They have Captain Shrimps come in, and that is the 5v4 that they're able to win at the end of the day. They get 2 for the price of 1.
4 kills for XU is great news for Cloud9 Amateur. This is what I was hoping to see yet again. Can they keep replicating this over and over, though, is that question. He's got that Last Whisper. He's going for some more armor shred just to make sure he can kill everyone. Oh no, can he get the Rift Herald, though? Okay, he can.
Secures the Rift Herald, but are they going to be able to pick up the actual eye itself? Another fight is breaking around. That's going to be a great chance of Corruption buying so much time. XU, he's able to find the Rift Herald, but at what cost? He goes down. That's going to be an execute coming in from the Vara's Copy, going absolutely crazy in this fight. Has to try and run away for himself now. He's going to use the dash in order to make it away. Blast Cone is available, but where does he go from here? He's deep behind enemy lines. He's waiting for the dash. One more. Will get away from the turret with just a sliver of health, but Captain Trips is coming up. Does he go for it? Does Copy make the turnaround play? I think you stop the chase here and Copy from deep within enemy lines. He makes it out alive.
He's still going. He's still not exactly safe, but luckily us as the spectators, we know that there's no other members here to help him or here to aid in his demise. Is to walk away with another kill for himself. Let's watch this again. As you mentioned, Cloud9 Amateur did have the teleport advantage. They brought these members from around the rift, and they have some global threat too with this Ziggs Mega Inferno Bomb just coming from the mid lane. Wixie gets to walk up the river, be very threatening, and then immediately flash out because he's in the face of Copy.
And while he's able to flash out, he has to go right back in here. Turns it around. Fire goes down at the end of the day. Copy will make it out alive here. It's 2 for 1, but with that teleport, with Wixie already sitting in the mid lane, King not available for that fight. We have another fight breaking out here. This one could be started up by Cloud9 Amateur, or Academy, I should say. Copy finds the first kill. Fire finds the second as a great engage from Miles. Is able to pick up this one, but Darshan still continuing this one on the bottom side of the fight. He uses the ultimate, and that's going to be the grand duel, finding a kill when a snipe from King is able to secure a 4th. It is coming up Cloud9 Academy once again here.
When Wixie wants to stay in this mid lane, he doesn't have ultimate, so he can't do a whole lot to clear the wave. He's in vision. Copy! Oh my god, that's so much damage!
I was just a couple of Qs. It was the Q and the Mimic Q. It didn't even land the chain. Imagine that electric Q and the final execution had gone through here. Copy still wants this one, still moving forward. The dragon is being secured. The mid lane turret has also been taken down. And Cloud9 Amateur, they are bleeding across the rift.
Effectively an ace for Cloud9 Academy alongside Drake 3. This is, again, a slaughter. And I'm not sure how many other synonyms I have for that one at this point. It's been the same for Game 2 and in Game 1. Cloud9 Academy, they clearly have something to prove in these, and they're not even done yet, Speedo. You gotta be careful, man. Oh no.
Oh, he whiffs the ultimate. You can't even get the dash reset, but Darshan does get popped out there by the head of Breezy, making sure you can save the top laner's life.
Oh,
Moment of respite, I was about to say, but it's too late as we have XU going down once more. He died picking up the Rift Herald, and he died putting it down. Gets the crash. Oh, Speedo, we just got you out, man. You can't be dying underneath turret like that.
Ooh, what a riposte for
great.
Darshan. He's got the grand challenge also. Breezy's going to fall eventually. Not sustained
Teleport.
enough for Darshan.
Teleport coming in from Copy. They want to keep this one going. Amateur, you've lost enough already. You are bleeding across the rift, and now you're giving over 2 more kills on the bottom side of the map. Wixie trying to back away here. Will be able to make it to safety, but it's just more kills going over constantly here, Smacks.
What? They got Darshan. It's not completely doomed. They can get the kills for Cloud9 Amateur. Oh, we get to see this. We get to see this play on to XU. All right, Copy. Show us your moves. I feel like Captain Falcon. Show me your moves.
Show me your moves. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my.
Pretty good moves. Pretty good moves. Yep.
That was
Golf
definitely a
claps on
flying knee. That was a neutral air. Jeez, going down immediately. Darshan on the bottom side of the map as well, going down to speed, or Darshan picking up speed on the bottom side of the map. We just see how fed Darshan is at this stage of the game. Look at the sustain that he's able to provide. He goes underneath turret. He survives so many rotations to spell some Captain Trip and Wixie here, and then Copy once he finally gets back in, just cleaning up the kill, making sure Surenfire can walk away safely from this fight.
Surefire's so hard to kill with all the sustain from Triumph and the Divine Sunder and the Frozen Domain. You need to get some heal cut, I feel, for that champion, which Captain Shrimps is doing. He's going to have the Putrefier eventually, but wasn't online quite yet. Now Speedo, oh my.
Where'd he go? I thought Copy
He's
was
gone.
playing LeBlanc, not Shaco, because he definitely showed me a magic trick where we had Speedo disappear here. 19 minutes, 45 seconds. Baron's about to spawn onto the map, and it's an 8,000 gold lead here for Cloud9 Academy. They're looking to start this game and end it in the same way that they did game 1. Breezy getting picked out here. That's going to be the knockup coming in from Miles with that grand entrance. It's going to be a great disengage from Breezy using the ultimate order to walk away here, but it just feels like Cloud9 Academy, much like game 1, just rolling through their opponent.
No Chains of Corruption anymore. King does with that spell as he pops the sad, crying dog emote. It's a very sad emote. I didn't know that one existed, but Cloud9 Academy, they keep running around the rift, and I feel like at this point they're just waiting for the next Drake to spawn, because then you thought Copy did a lot of damage before. Get ready for the Infernal Soul pop, Icarus. It's not going to be fair at that point.
He already has one Luden's Tempest. He doesn't need another Smacks. It's
Yeah.
doubling down on the burst of damage, and no minion, no champion will be safe on the rift once that extra dragon has been picked up. It's still a minute 20 away, so Cloud9 Amateur trying to set up some pressure in this bottom side river. They're looking to play some wards down early, make sure that they have priority on this bottom side of the map, because they cannot afford to give over this extra dragon if they want to keep their Proving Grounds dreams alive here, if they want to provide the opportunity for their players to go to Sky Grounds.
Just a ton on the line for Cloud9 Amateur. This is what Proving Grounds is about. The amateur teams against academy teams trying to fight it out, trying to see if the gap has been closed. Unfortunately, Cloud9 Amateur are against one of the biggest titans in the entire bracket in Cloud9 Academy, the bigger brother. They're still clawing their way, trying to make it work. Maybe they can kill Surenfire.
Death Bush is finding success. That's the shutdown. That Surenfire going down. Double kill picked up here for the side of Cloud9 Amateur with the re-engage coming from Copy, but it's not going to find its way true onto Speedo. Now, it is Darshan in the backline. He finds one. He's able to pick up Speedo. Is he going to be able to find the ult reset onto Breezy, though? The parry is used, but it's not going to be enough. A flash away from Breezy keeps him alive. That's going to be the stopwatch used in order to keep Darshan alive. One more spell coming in from Captain Shrimp there. He's going to find the kill. Copy with the flash! Copy with the triple! He said you thought you were going to get the turnaround here, but it is not happening today. Quadra kill picked up for the mid laner of Cloud9 Academy. He is the carry in this game for sure.
Man, the only thing that would have made that better is if he bought Medjai's, but he has the fully stacked Dark Seal and the Quadra kill, man, to close out this fight. Can go back to the Drake. His King is King is having some fun with the dragon.
Just leave it, King. Okay, there we go. Copy's coming over. They're going to be able to pick up the Dragon Soul as well for themselves. The Pentakill, the Medjai's. We wish we had seen it for Copy, but I think an Infernal Soul is good enough of a reward here for the side of Cloud9 Amateur or Academy.
Yeah, we got to see the long con in preparation here for Cloud9 Amateur. They lied in wait for such a long amount of time for Surenfire. They got 2 kills to start off the fight. But it's not on the carry members. You still have to deal with so much damage from Copy and King, as shown here. And not to mention Darshan, who's just in a 1v3, getting so much damage, even getting a kill onto Speedo, stalls out forever. And then on the escape path, Cloud9 Amateur, they all run together, they all stack up on top of each other, and I mean, let's just watch the fireworks again. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The flash, the mimic, it's so good, so clean there from Copy to follow up on the back of that team fight. And as you were saying, Smacks, they got 2 kills for the side of Amateur, but they were not on the members that it needed to be. And actually had used his flash actually to get over the wall. Oh no, Wixie dropped it out extremely low. One more Q there, and Copy finds a kill. He's gone legendary in this game. The rest of the fight's going on around the top side of this map though. Breezy will fall down shortly. Speedo is up Creek without a paddle here. He's going to be fighting 3 members by himself. Darshan will be the recipient of that kill, as XU, finding himself 2v1, will be going down to the hands of Copy as well. It is just a clean 4-for-0 here from Cloud9 Academy. They don't even need this Baron, but you know what? They're going to pick it up because they can.
Yeah, they don't want to have to deal with the wave clear of Captain Shrimps' Karma, who stayed alive, didn't engage in the fight, thought better, is like, I don't think I'm going to go and fight that one. I think I'm going to stay at home and clear my minions. So he gets to survive. Not an ace fully for Cloud9 Academy, but it's just about one. This fight, we're getting the fight after Copy has already one-shot somebody. That's how you know that this is going very well for Cloud9 Academy.
We just see it's constantly Cloud9 Academy. They're finding these engages, and this time around the jungle, coming in from the side of Surenfire with that Trundle. The pillars working so well. We've definitely had a much better showing from the Trundle in the jungle than we have in the support role so far. These 2 series is using those pillars, having that extra gold for yourselves to be more tanky, to play that front line fearlessly, has allowed him to step forward and use that pillar to pick off Breezy there, and opening up the avenue for the rest of his team to just come piling in onto the members of Cloud9 Amateur.
Cloud9 Amateur, they have about 2 minutes where they have to deal with the Baron buff on the members of the opposition. See if they can have their bases survive, because they have some wave clear. They've got Ziggs and Karma to clear the waves from afar. Actually, no, they don't have Ziggs. Scratch that. He is dead.
Oh, would you look at that? Once again, Copy finding a pick for himself. Just so fed on this LeBlanc. Minion waves being pressured in the mid and top side of the map here. This could be Game Smacks. This could be Cloud9 Academy looking to secure themselves, that moving on to the next stage of the losers bracket here in Proving Grounds. Copy dashing forward, trying to blow up X, who pops his on his own and keeps himself alive. That's going to be the re-engage coming by Alice. King finds the first. It's going to be an absolute slaughter underneath the Nexus turrets as Cloud9 Academy, they want to clean this one up. They are not giving their little brother a single shot in this series, as they're going to be ending the series 2-0. Both Nexus turrets are going down. The Nexus will be finished, and it's Cloud9 Academy that wins the second game and closes out the series to keep their Proving Grounds dreams alive.
A one-sided series through and through for the big brothers on Cloud9 Academy. Well done. They keep their series alive. They keep their Proving Grounds tournament alive, and we will see them play against Golden Guardians Academy later on in the week. What a treat that we got to see. Copy just going so hard in both games. So many kills on the Aurelia and the LeBlanc, showing 2 different sides of him, but both so strong.
And we actually have none other than Copy waiting on the sidelines right now. Copy joining us for the Verizon interview. The man, the myth, the legend, the carry in both of these games. How are you feeling after that 2-0 series, my man?
Feeling good. Obviously, it looked pretty clean from us, but I think we've been working really hard. Obviously, after our loss against Resolve, we took it pretty hard on ourselves, and we just wanted to improve in everything that we're doing poorly at. So getting that win pretty convincingly today definitely feels good.
Yeah, do you feel like those improvements have come with the time over the past couple of weeks, and do you feel confident to perhaps make another appearance in the finals just like you did in spring?
Yeah, definitely confident. I think we all, after the loss against Resolve, we all just took time and took each other's feedback on what we could do better. and ever since that, it was like it was a really big wake up call. So yeah, after that, I definitely feel confident, and yeah, we're gonna make it back to Proving Grounds final and win it this time for sure.
Hell yeah, it's exciting stuff. So you, as the second seed going against Resolve, did lose that first series. How did you break the second seed curse and win the next round? Because last time we saw that happen, Team Liquid just lost 4-0 or 0-4 instead.
Right. Yeah, that meme it's honestly really cursed. So thank God
Yeah.
we actually made it this far. So yeah, I think all of us are putting in a lot of work. This season, or this year rather, in Academy has been really long. So it definitely feels good seeing all 5 of us just put in our best after such a long season. And I think only in 2 weeks our season will be done after that. So just grinding it out till the end, and yeah, making it all worth it.
And you guys are looking to go towards finals here. For yourself personally, coming in after the back of this game, is this reinstilling any kind of confidence in you guys that, you're after that pop-up performance, are you feeling much better? Are you guys feeling confident? Are you still keeping your heads level about you, still looking forward to these next games, taking it one at a time?
Yeah, good question. Um, we're definitely confident in ourselves, but I think what happened last split was we weren't like necessarily respecting the enemy that well. Like we weren't really respecting no org and what their players could do in draft and in game. So I think it's good to be confident, but also be realistic and not like BM your opponents or just give them the respect, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you guys just played against the an in-org scrim, perhaps, as you just took out the Cloud9 amateur. Do you guys interact with that team a whole lot? Was this like a very close-knit match? Did you have some personal stakes there, beating up on the other Cloud9 boys?
I definitely interact with them in my solo queue games, but other than that, not too much. But yeah, our whole team was just joking around about it. It was like, just yeah, facing off against each other.
Well, it was a really exciting series from you guys. You guys won in pretty dominating fashion here. Copy, do you have any final shoutouts or anything you want to say to all your fans at home that have been watching the series to support you guys in your 2-0 victory over your amateur counterparts?
Yeah, shout out to my friends, shout out to my family. Also, like I said before, shout out to my teammates and my coach West Rice. I think we've all been putting in really hard work and and good effort forward. So, yeah, we're coming back for Proving Grounds, and we're gonna win it this time.
Ooh, all right. I love to hear that. Thanks so much, Copy, for that interview. Congratulations again on the win.
Thank you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be us for here on week 3, day 2 of the Proving Ground streams. It's been a fun time being able to join you all here on the streams. We had a couple of very exciting series back and forth between FlyQuest and Golden Guardians, and a much more secure series here from Cloud9 Amateur versus Cloud9 Academy. Let's give the amateur team, who put up a good fight, their final hurrah as well, as we take a walk through memory lane.
Yeah, unfortunately, this was definitely one of the most one-sided series of all of Proving Grounds thus far, but we gotta pay respect to Cloud9 Amateur. They've had a great split up until this loss, and they've had a really nice showing, and I think that's really important because, like I said before, these guys have been sticking together, coach and all the players, for months and months. They have putting in the grind work, and they likely will be seen at that scouting grounds later on in November. So I'm really excited about the prospects on Cloud9 Amateur. I think we're going to be seeing these guys a lot more in North America in the coming years and in the coming season next year.
You'd love to see the pipeline for amateur growing, as we've seen over the course of this past year. Riot listening more and more to the amateur scene, listening more and more to the academy scene, watching these players grow and evolve and becoming these real big stars for their teams. And we can see here Copy making a huge name for himself today. Joining us on the interview, has done putting up a fantastic show in both games of this best of 3 series.
some great stuff from Copy. I love to see him pop off like this, man. This guy, I've been watching him ever since the 100 Thieves Next games back in last year's scouting ground circuit, and to see him come into Cloud9 and have these games where he is just hard carrying as the more rookie member on a team stacked with veterans from around the world. It's just so cool to see. And not to take away from the rest of Cloud9 Academy, they all had a great series today. And I'm really looking forward to see them play against Golden Guardians later on into the week. But you gotta highlight Copy, man. This guy went so hard on the LeBlanc and on the Aurelia.
It's been an insane performance from everyone on this roster, proving that they deserve a spot on this Academy roster, proving that they may even potentially earn a spot in the LCS once again. A lot of veteran talent coming in here from this roster. As we take a look towards those future matchups, as you said, Golden Guardians Academy, the winner of our earlier series, will be playing off against Cloud9 Academy later on this week. I do think that's actually in 2 days on Friday that they'll be playing, if I'm not mistaken.
Mark your calendars. It's going to be a good one, and you're not going to want to miss the rest of the streams throughout this entire week. We have one every single day today all the way through Sunday. And if you missed yesterday's games as well, we had some great ones then too. So you're not going to want to miss any of that Proving Grounds action. Case in point is a game like this with the Infernal Soul explosions blowing everybody up and just great team fights. And oh, look at this, we get another look at the bracket. So just as like you said, we got Resolve versus IMT on Friday, Golden Guardians versus Cloud9 Academy on Friday as well, and I believe tomorrow we have our matches from the upper bracket side of things.
It is going to be the upper bracket. That is going to be Team Liquid Academy versus Dignitas, or actually
That's going to be a good one.
Wasn't it Wildcard that's playing up there? I thought it is going to be
there it is.
Wildcard. Okay, 100 Thieves Academy versus Wildcard Red, and then on the other side, Team Liquid Academy versus Dignitas Academy. A lot of amateur teams that have been popping up big, and we still have one team or a lot of Academy teams popping off really big, and one team from the amateur scene, Wildcard Red, showing up huge so far. They won everything previous to Proving Grounds, and they have a lot of proving that they need to do here as well, try to see if they can take it all. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much from myself, from Smacks, from production. We love you all for coming in. If you guys love what we do here, you can always throw us a follow on Twitter as well. We have our tags down below. But on behalf of everyone here, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.